My dear students, Assalamu alaikum. I am Professor Muhammad Ashrafuzzaman, Professor of Biochemistry at Din Women's Medical College. Today we shall discuss about the glomerular filtration rate, which is the beginning chapter of renal biochemistry. Before we discuss glomerular filtration rate, we should talk a few words about related anatomy. That is, it comprises also renal biochemistry, two kidneys, two ureters, one urinary bladder, and one urethra. The nephron is the structural and functional unit of kidney. Again, nephron has got two parts. One is glomerulus and another is the renal tubule. Glomerulus is the tuft of capillaries and it is being capsulated by Bowman's capsule. Now, at the beginning of our today's topic, glomerular filtration rate, if we define it, then the definition is like this, that glomerular filtration rate is the quantity of total quantity of glomerular filtration formed per minute in all the functioning nephrons by both the kidneys. This is termed as glomerular filtration rate. It is about 125 milliliter per minute or 180 liter per day. Now, how it is formed? You see, kidney has got again outer portion the cortex, inner portion the medulla, and through the hilum of the kidney, renal artery enters into the kidney, from where it branches and ultimately formed a thin arterioles where it ends in the cortical portion where the glomerulus of the nephron lies. After entering it through the afferent arteriole, it enters the glomerulus where the glomerular hydrostatic pressure it is a very high hydrostatic pressure bed, and the glomerular hydrostatic pressure which forces out the blood to the renal tubule crossing the Bowman's capsule. The pressure which requires for this filtration for the blood to come into the renal tubule which has the glomerular hydrostatic pressure is the 60 millimeter of mercury. But there is some forces which opposes the plasma to be filtered into the renal tubule, because as you know from the colloidal substance like plasma protein which lies in the plasma, that is the albumin, globulin, fibrinogen, this colloidal substance wants to keep the water which is the 91 to 92% of water of blood is the water. So plasma protein wants to keep the water inside the blood vessel, that is the within the glomerulus. This opposes the plasma to be filtered. So this is the opposing pressure. Glomerular hydrostatic pressure is the trying to force into the renal tubule, but colloidal osmotic pressure tries to keep the water inside the glomerulus, that is within the blood vessels of that is in the glomerulus. Again, this is the pressure of the oncotic pressure, it is the 32 millimeter of mercury. Again, when the blood passes from the glomerulus to the renal tubule, it is to cross the Bowman's capsule. Bowman's capsule, again, it also opposes the plasma to enter into the renal tubule. So it has got also an opposing force, and it is about 18 millimeter of mercury. So you see, there are two opposing forces and one force to be filtered through the Bowman's capsule from the glomerulus to the renal tubule. That is, the glomerular hydrostatic pressure is the only single pressure, that is the 60 millimeter of mercury forces plasma into the renal tubule, which is opposed by the colloidal osmotic pressure plus the Bowman's capsular pressure, which is equivalent to colloidal osmotic pressure is 32 millimeter of mercury and Bowman's capsular pressure is 18 millimeter of mercury. So altogether, these opposing forces is oncotic pressure plus the Bowman's capsular pressure. So 32 millimeter plus the 18 millimeter, this is around 50 millimeter of mercury, which opposes the filtration of the plasma, which is against the glomerular filtration hydrostatic pressure, that is the 60 millimeter of mercury. So from 60 millimeter of mercury, if we minus the 50 millimeter of mercury, then the net glomerular filtration pressure will be 10 millimeter of mercury. My dear students, you must remember the pressure where the glomerular hydrostatic pressure is 60 millimeter of mercury, oncotic pressure or colloidal osmotic pressure is 32 millimeter of mercury, and Bowman's capsular pressure is 18 millimeter of mercury. This is often asked in the examination, particularly in the oral examination, and the net glomerular filtration pressure. So you have to know the net glomerular filtration pressure, that is the 10 millimeter of mercury. So this 10 millimeter mercury ultimately filtrates the plasma from the glomerulus through the Bowman's capsule into the renal tubule. So this is very important for you because it is often asked by the examiners in the oral professional examination. Please remember the pressure related to the glomerular filtration rate. So this is about the definition of the glomerular filtration rate, and the quantity is 125 milliliter per minute, which I have already mentioned, and 180 liter per day or 180 liter per day. This is also very important because often for the next chapters, when we will discuss the various topics in related to renal biochemistry, GFR will be very important. Now you come to a very common question in the SCQ, that what are the factors affecting glomerular filtration rate. By this discussion, you can easily understand the major thing is the glomerular hydrostatic pressure. So if glomerular hydrostatic pressure increases, GFR will be increased. If glomerular hydrostatic pressure decreases, GFR will be decreased. That is, it is directly proportional. Again, this glomerular hydrostatic pressure depends on arterial pressure, afferent arteriolar resistance and efferent arteriolar resistance. So you see, Arterial pressure, if arterial pressure increases, then the glomerular filtration rate will naturally be increased, and if the afferent arteriolar resistance increases, then the GFR will be decreased. You see, when the arterial pressure has increased, GFR is being increased, so it is directly proportional. But when we discuss about the resistance, afferent arteriolar resistance increases, GFR decreases. So it is inversely proportional. It is inversely proportional. You have to understand that afferent arteriolar resistance increases, GFR will be decreases. Mind it. So mind this, that afferent arteriolar resistance increases, the GFR decreases. That is inversely proportional. Again, efferent arteriolar constriction or resistance increases, similarly there will be also decreases of GFR. This is about the glomerular hydrostatic pressure related factors, and it is very easy to remember. The three factors are there. One is the glomerular hydrostatic pressure, another is the oncotic pressure, another is the Bowman's capsular pressure. So naturally second one will be oncotic pressure. If colloidal substances in the hydrostatic, in the glomerulus, in the blood vessels, the plasma is pulled out by the colloidal substances. If it does not need to the water to be out of the glomerulus, naturally if the oncotic pressure increases, then the uh, uh, GFR will be decreased. You see, here is the inversely proportional. Oncotic pressure increases, GFR decreases. Again, if the oncotic pressure decreases, that is if they do not pull the water inside, the water will be easily plasma will be easily passes out into the renal tubule. So in respect to oncotic pressure, it is inversely proportional. If it increases, the GFR decreases, and if it decreases, GFR increases. Now comes to Bowman's capsular pressure. You see, similarly, Bowman's capsule, this does not try to allow plasma to be entered into the renal tubule, and its pressure is 18 millimeter of mercury, as I have already discussed with you. Now naturally, if the pressure of Bowman's capsule is increased, so GFR will be decreased. Again, if alternatively the pressure of the Bowman's capsule is decreased, then the GFR will be increased. So these 3 points is very easy for you to remember. This is, if you understand the GFR basic concept, you will also understand these 3 factors. So I hope to tell in the oral examination or in SAQ, you will not be confused, at least in these 3 points. Fourthly, permeability coefficient, which depends upon the surface area of the glomerular membrane. More the surface area, more the GFR. This is directly proportional. It is quite natural. The surface area will be more, the glomerular filtration rate will be more, and so it is directly proportional. And if the surface area is less, then the GFR will be also decreased. Next, if the number of the water pores in the glomerular membrane is more, then the GFR will be increased, and if the number of the water pores is less, then naturally the glomerular filtration rate will be less. So this is about the permeability coefficient. Now come the sympathetic nervous system. If you understand about the sympathetic nervous system, then it will be very easy for me to make you understand that sympathetic stimulation of sympathetic nervous system causes vasoconstriction of the renal blood vessels. So, if the stimulation of sympathetic nervous system occurs, then GFR will be decreased, and conversely, if the sympathetic nervous system is inhibited, the GFR will be increased. This is inversely proportional. You have to remember about the sympathetic nervous system. What is the effect of sympathetic nervous system on the renal blood vessels? If you remember that, you can easily correlate with the factors factors related to GFR in respect to the sympathetic stimulation or inhibition. In sympathetic stimulation, GFR will be increased, and in sympathetic inhibition, GFR will be decreased. There are some hormones and autocoirs which also have effects on the GFR, like norepinephrine, epinephrine. They vasoconstricts the blood vessels. They vasoconstricted the blood vessels. So, as a result, they also decreases the GFR. This is the hormones are epinephrine and non-epinephrine particularly. They also affect the glomerular filtration rate in vasoconstriction form when it is your vasoconstriction hormones is decreases the GFR, and in case of your endothelial derived nitric oxide and prostaglandin, this also decreases the GFR. This also decreases the GFR. So, renal blood flow, if the renal blood flow increases, then also the GFR will be increases. In case of renal vasoconstriction, GFR will be less, and in case of renal vasodilatation, GFR will be increases. This is directly proportional. So, these are the factors. Number 1, number 2, number 3 are very easy for you. There is one is the glomerular hydrostatic pressure, another one is the oncotic pressure, third one is the Bowman's capsular pressure, fourthly permeability coefficient, which depends upon the surface area of the glomerular membrane and the number of water pores. Fifth is the sympathetic stimulation, which stimulates and decreases the GFR, and inhibition increases the GFR. Fifth is the hormones or autocoirs, which decreases the GFR, like the name of the hormones are epinephrine and norepinephrine. And there is also endothelial derived nitric oxide and prostaglandin, which decreases the GFR. Again, renal flow is very easy for you to remember that more the renal flow, more the GFR. If there is renal vasodilation, it will increase the GFR, and if the renal vasoconstriction, then there will be decreased GFR. This is a very important question for you for in the SCQ, both in the oral examination. So I hope you have understood the things. If there is any question, you can ask me, or you can put it in your messenger or message or in any uh, uh, by through your class representative. We can answer it in the next class. If you have got understand, then we can end the class today and wish you all the best. Allah Hafiz.